Well, hey, what is the crack, YouTubers? Welcome to our special May the 4th celebration. May the Force be with you. Die, Rebels, come. I'm more of an Empire type of guy myself, to be honest with you. If I'm being honest, I'm not into the rebellion sort, you know. I've always been more of a fan of the TIE Fighter than the X-Wing and, Vader over Luke. I don't know, I must have fell to the dark side as a youngling. But for today's May the 4th celebrations, we have... Try not to attack the microphone. We have our Lego Stormtrooper. That's what we're going to be building today. So, yeah. I got this for Christmas, along with the TIE Fighter pilot helmet, which we built in one of the other hobby hangouts. So, yeah, we're gonna crack on and bust this one open. So yeah, without any further ado, less faffing, more unpacking. So how are we all keeping, folks? Anybody else in a May the 4th Star Wars celebration? Ooh, stickers. Mood? Is anybody else doing a build along or building some Lego kits? Where can I put this that people could probably, I don't know, over here somewhere, over here. That would require planning and foresight on my behalf, so sadly not today. How are we all keeping? Is this looking alright? The stats aren't looking the May washed for it. But apparently it's up and live. Apparently. 3 concurrent viewers. I can't see the chat if it's working. Is it working? Is it working? Are we having technical difficulties? Can you all hear me? Feel free to type yes. That a glorious sound of Lego. Reminds, do you know what sound I get that from as well? Do you ever go digging in a really big bits box? You get that nice sort of, like I have a small one here. There's an orc bits box. You know what I mean? You get that sort of glorious plastic on plastic sound. Reminds me of my childhood. Time well spent. Time well spent. But alas, I shall procrastinate no further. And let's crack on. So, we'll sort out our bags. They nicely label them all first these days. And we'll look for bag number 1. And hopefully... Ew, this white isn't too white. It's more of a cream than a white. Or maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Hey, Marcus is here. What's the crack, Marcus? Can you hear me loud and clear, Marcus? Can you hear me? I've dropped me commander off me Tiger tank on the floor. I wasn't planning on using them anyway. For the bolt action Tiger tank. Thought I put it together. I'm going to be cracking open bag number 1. So yeah. From what I gather, these are from the 2020 series. They've done a couple of other ones. I know there's a Darth Vader one now. I know that there was a Boba Fett helmet kit that came out at the same time. I'm going to move these bags over here off the desk to give myself some more space so I can actually find the bits, unlike the last time where I managed to forget to add. Hey, E60 here as well. What's the crack, bud? I'll try not to forget to put, parts into essential spots when building it this time around. Is anybody doing any Star Wars hobby? Painting up any orcs in a Star Wars theme? Maybe an R2, D2 squig or a runtbot? Or do we have any plans for May the 4th? Does anybody go through a Star Wars marathon? I actually very recently watched all the Star Wars films. How far did I get? Yeah, no, I went like episodes 1 all the way up to the recent ones. It's a long ass haul. It's a long old haul. Especially if you throw in like Rogue One and the Han Solo film. There's a few bits and pieces. Sci-fi here. Greetings. We'll be joining in with new Lego TIE Fighter. Ooh. Ultimate Collector Series or L Bog Standard? What's it saying here? Welcome to your new LEGO Star Wars building adventure. Helmets are an iconic part of the Star Wars universe, and we're proud to present the line of construction sets the fans will love to build and display. When you build a model, you will see we've worked hard to stay faithful to the original designs. We've also brought the helmets down to scale. That's easy to put together, practical to display, and beautiful to look at. They're pretty cool to look at. So, Stormtrooper helmet. Soon you'll be displaying one of the most recognizable and feared helmets in the galaxy. Something to think about while you put it together. Stormtroopers were the force villains ever seen in Star Wars Galaxy. When they blasted into the Rebel blockade runner hallway in the original Star Wars trilogy, the model you were about to build is based on the iconic trooper as seen in Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. This is an instantly recognizable model design-wise, and the contrast with the black and white colours is gorgeous to the eye. This is true. Was this like in Cloud City, I think, wasn't it? Boom. So we get our construction tool, which we didn't used to get back in my day. Back in my day. But we will crack on. So bag one is going to be the core of the helmet. And we shall start our construction thusly. Right, so I'll put the book over here. Let's tell me the build bits. Essex is making a new Orky town. Sci-Fi is saying his TIE Fighter is not the collector series. I know you have quite a few LEGO Star Wars sets, so I know you do. You have the AT-ATs. I'm very jealous. I wouldn't mind getting an AT. Mind you, the missus did ask me if I wanted an AT-AT for Christmas. And I was like, well, where am I going to put it? But, you know, it's LEGO. I suppose you can build it and just, you know, take it apart. Break it up. It won't be the end of the world. You know what I mean? Can always do it more LEGO. We have talked of our Grandmaster plan, which is to one day try and get the Millennium Falcon Ultimate Collector series and put it inside one of those, you know, the coffee tables, the display ones. That is the dream. Funnily enough, for both of us, she was more than excited at the prospects. So we'll have to save up our pennies and coppers and try and get one someday before they're out of production. Marcus is saying, well, a new Orky town, there'll be a lot of Orc train. I'm still working on my second tower. These boys have been busy, alright. Very busy. I am busy throwing this together. We're on to stage 5 of construction already. So if I was saying, my AT-ATs had another baby, aka the mini-series one. Nice. How many AT-ATs is that now, Si? 5? Something like that? I have no idea. The man's breeding them. He's an AT-AT breeder. I was only watching one of the Robot Chickens skits about the AT-ATs on hot when they get deployed, and they just sort of they're racing them like cattle or whatever. It's hilarious, it really is. A bit out of character for what you would expect the slow and ponderous, but I can remember like seeing AT-ATs for the first time as a kid, and I was like, I always loved that sort of stop motion animation style. Do you know what I mean? For the AT-ATs that they used, like, because I remember I used to love watching like Sinbad the Sailor, and I think it was like Jason and the Argonauts. Do you know those type of films, the old school ones, where they'd have these sort of like clay figurines that they did stop motion animation with. I always loved them. I always thought they were really cool. So when I saw like the AT-ATs, it reminded me of that, because I think I would have seen Sinbad the Sailor before I had seen Star Wars as a kid. I distinctly remember sitting down and watching the original series, because like the Phantom Menace hadn't come out at that point, so it was back in the 90s. Watching it with my stepfather, because he loves Star Wars, and he had like the VHS, so they were VHS videotapes. He had the VHS, I think it was like a collector series, which came in a box. It was like gold, and it had Vader on the side. So that's how I first experienced Star Wars. I didn't get to see it in the films because I wasn't born until the late 80s. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's older zogs there. Mostly Zen is asking what happened to the beard. I went to trim it, Tom. All right, and then there was a bit of a mix up as to what size head on the trimmer I put on, and I forgot to put one on, and I just trimmed the sides, and I was like, to hell with it. I'll just trim the lot of it. So I just trimmed a lot of it, and, you know, give it a couple of months, the beard will be back, lads. You know what I mean? Now I just look like I don't shave at all. It's hilarious. Looking stubbly, but it'll be grand. The hair on me noggin, on the other hand, no matter how much I shave that won't grow back. But the beard will. Don't worry, lads. The beard will be back. It'll be back in action. Essex is saying he loves the old style animation AT-AT. It was so cool as a kid. Glad I never grown up. I don't think any of us truly have. You know what I mean? We get to indulge our inner child on the regular, whether it's with a tabletop wargaming or, you know, the missus decides to buy me Lego Star Wars for Christmas and birthdays. I won't say no. I really won't. You know what I mean? I do sort her out with cool presents too. I got her a few paints and some miniatures to paint. For Christmas, what did I get her? She loves Lord of the Rings, so I got her. I got Mrs. Scarnier some Lord of the Rings miniatures for Christmas, and then I got her some more Lord of the Rings miniatures for Valentine's. But I think she needs to crack on with them. I'll leave her alone with her Battle of Pelennor Fields and the other bits and pieces. I think I'll take it easy on the old miniatures front, gift wise, for the time being. I'll have to sort her out with something else. Now we're looking for one of these blocks and one of these blocks. Put them together and bish bash bosh. Tom was saying, I've had the trimmer accident too. Mrs. Zen was disappointed that he didn't look like a Viking anymore. Bless. Yeah, funnily enough, Mrs. Scarnier was not too happy. She was like, where's the beard? What happened to the beard? She was surprisingly distraught, Tom. She was surprisingly distraught. I just told her it'll grow back. Don't worry about it, you know. But yeah, she was somewhat distraught. You know, you'd swear I'd sold the dog or something, like, you know what I mean? I'd sold the family pet off. The reaction I got, where's the beard? Well, it's not here anymore. It's gone on vacation. We've sent them on holidays. Sent them packing. Alright, so we're getting the core of this built up. I like how they do like multicolours. The design for the cores of the builds. They go for various colours to help with obviously being able to see what goes where, so there's no confusion in that regard. I would have thought they would have just done white on white, but I don't know. I do wonder what colour is the cheapest for them to produce. Like, I've heard, like, when it comes to dyes, that red is the cheapest because it's the most popular. Not the most popular, the most common dye. That red bricks would be cheaper. But I don't know, because we're getting all sorts of colours here. Bits and pieces of this, that and the other. So if I was saying, I had to get new trimmers, my face fuzz killed the old ones. That does happen from time to time. I find if you oil them, though, if you give them a bit of oil, that they get a bit longer. You get a bit more longevity out of them. I don't like the ones that have the batteries built into them. You know, the rechargeable ones, they always go. I pretty much don't like anything that has like a battery in it. Like, when it comes to headsets, I don't really like rechargeable headsets or remotes and stuff like that. I like things to be wired in, because batteries just go, they go naff after a while, you know what I mean? Like, even like the electric toothbrush or the trimmer, you know, I'd prefer to have something that takes AA batteries and then you can just replace it and not have to worry about it. Or buy rechargeable ones there, but it's easier to replace rechargeable AA's than it is an inbuilt battery for something. Do you know what I mean? It's the same with the phones. I'm never too enamored. Battery technology isn't quite up to snuff. I've always found that quite amusing as well. It's our phones got more and more powerful and require more and more power, but like the battery technology just isn't quite there yet. I'm looking forward to when we get solid state batteries. They will be awesome, but probably still a whiles away yet. But they will help the cause massively. We won't have to put up with batteries capacity and discharge slowly dying. Right, I need 4 of these grey yolks on the front. I'm trying to blast through this one at a reasonable rate. We're not at the interesting parts yet, we're just at the core. This is just our substructure to build on. Thomas saying, women do seem to secretly like beards. If they didn't, I'm sure we'd have evolved out of them. I'm sure we would have heard by now, Tom. I'm sure we definitely would have heard by now. I'm still rocking the lockdown beard from behind my NHS mask. Oh, bless. Yeah, masks and beards. That's another thing. I was finding that I was growing a bit out here. This bit was longer, and I was finding it was a pain in the ass with the mask. So I do wonder how men of girthier beardage manage with masks. Maybe there's some hidden technique I haven't been introduced to yet. But mind you, I don't need to worry about it anytime soon again, clearly. With the old beardage front. Alright, so we've got that going on. Got a bit of this going on. And a bit of that going on. And apparently this goes on the back there. Bosh. That was step 19. We're getting there, lads. Step 19 out of... How many we got? 230. There you go. Step 19 out of 230. Alright, so we have 4 single blocks. It'll all sort of go hither, dither, and yonder. But yeah, I've been talking previously about Lego blocks and taking care of them. We had the awesome and wonderful poke on the last Lego live build that we had. And we were talking about bad habits and our childhood. And there was one thing that I could never stand as a kid. And that's people who used to bite Lego blocks to get them apart. I could never. Sacrilege for me it was. Sacrilege. One of these and one of them. Because you'd end up damaging the blocks. So anytime my brother tried to do it, I can remember, because we used to share. Like, it was mostly my Lego. I'd say like 90% of the bucket was my Lego. And like 10% of it was his. Because I think up until like from the age of 3 or 4 up until 14, I got Lego for like every birthday, Christmas, the odd like gift here and there. I'd be given Lego, like, so that's where most of the Lego came from. I really do need to sort of rescue it from my mother's attic. She has been talking about clearing out her attic lately, and Jesus, to be war the buttons now. If the Lego got chucked out or given away to someone else, there'd be murder. Absolute murder, I'm telling you. Murder, she wrote. But I doubt it. I think it'll be fine. She keeps talking about apparently people wash their Lego if it's been in storage for a while. In like in the wash machine inside a pillowcase. So I don't know. I do know there's a good few Gundam bits in there that would be very tempting for orc conversions or scratch builds. I've seen quite a few bits and gubbins that people have used for conversions, but I'm trying not be too tempted. You know what I mean? I would like to go back through my old Lego kits, and where do you go? Oh, you go here. I'd like to go back through them and see how many of them I can actually rebuild. I think that would be fun, if you get me. This one goes here, and that one goes there. So that goes there, and that goes there. And that one goes there. But I don't have... I need to figure out where all of these ones go now. I don't have the instructions for quite a lot of them, so I'd have to go online, find instructions, try and find what parts are and aren't there, what ones are missing and such. I think that's all of them. I was up to stage 30. Andreas is saying this is so hypnotic. What, the building? Getting it built. Get her built. Get her done. We're still only at the core, Andreas. We haven't really done, like, that's going to be the top of his noggin, but we haven't really thrown a lot of it together. We're still only on bag 1 and step 31 out of, what, 230 or something like that we said? I'm just trying to make sure that I'm actually putting the pieces together. So this is our core. These are the bits left over from bag 1. I'm going to put that to the side over there beside our stickers and our what is this called? Just like the tool or something? I don't bleed know. We're on to bag 2. Numero 2. Whoop. Plastic into the recycling. I like that they put the little bits in a little bag. Do you get me? It's great crack. Sci-Fi was saying, was always tempted to build a stomp at Gargant with old Meccano. My cousins had Meccano. We never really had Meccano, me and my brother, but my older cousins had Meccano. And I don't know what it was about it. I never really caught onto it the same way I caught on to Lego. I think it's because you had to like physically bolt it together. I think it was a case of it took longer to take it apart. You get me? Whereas with Lego, it was pretty straightforward. You could take it apart easily with just your hands. Whereas I remember there was like a little wrench tool that you had with Meccano that you had to use. I'm trying to make sure that the booklet stays standing and doesn't fall over me. I know there was a little sort of wrench tool that you used, and it was all like nuts and bolts and metal sort of supports, like sort of beams and metal, but they were all flat as well. I think that was another problem. Wasn't too enamored with Meccano, was the pieces were very sort of two-dimensional. But I saw some of the stuff that was built out of Meccano, and it looked pretty sweet, like Ferris wheels and diggers and cranes and lots of different worky gubbinses and bits. It did look impressive, I'll say that much. That one and that one, yes. So that goes like that. I think we're building the base of the like plinth or stand that it goes on. I'll try and move this out of the way so we can actually see what we're doing. Yeah, and that one goes there. Yeah, so this will be the base element. So for anyone who hasn't seen the last one, I have the TIE Fighter. So we have... Ooh, I'll try not to knock the microphone. We have the TIE Fighter pilot from the last build that we did, the last hobby hangout. So I think the first three, there was this one, there was Boba Fett's helmet, and then there's the Stormtrooper one we're doing now. So maybe in the future I'll try and get another one after this. I'll try and get the Boba Fett, because I think the first three that came out were those, and I'll try and get the Boba Fett helmet. I mean, Mrs. Scarner was like, oh, I thought you'd like the black one and the white one. I'm like, well, yeah. And, you know, she wasn't too enamored. She's like, I didn't know if you'd like the brown and grey one. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'd like that too. You know, she was asking for ideas for birthday presents for my birthday for next month. Even though her birthday is first. I'm like, what would you like, love? She's like, no, you tell me. Do you ever get that? It's like they'll ask you and you'll tell them straightforward, but you have to sort of... you have to find out yourself, you know what I mean? It's not that easy, finding the good presents. It's not that easy, lads, you know what I mean? I'm going to lose my page now. We're on step number 38. That's what we're on. Happy days. Oh, don't knock it on the floor. Stuff's going everywhere. Right, so we have this as the base. And we're building this bit, right? So... Gubbins goes here. How's the weather being where you guys are? It's been a mixed bag over here today. We had a bit of hail, a bit of shine, a bit of everything. And this is a weird one. This is slightly different, I think, is it? Find out soon enough. No, I think this is exactly the same. I just misremembered. Yeah, because I remember there's like a Technic part. Yeah, this thing will go in here, and there's like a rod. These Technic pieces, if I remember correctly, these will sit together and go in here and go up, just to strengthen it or anchor it together. I'll just make sure I'm not skipping ahead on any of the pieces. Yeah, so this is the base of our display of sorts. These are actually pretty cool. I do have some shelves I'd like to put up, but I don't have a strong enough drill. I just have like a normal electric drill, just like a Black & Decker, but it's not like the walls in this house, the wall I want to drill into. Most of the walls in this room, they're all concrete. Like this one's the chimney, and like they're proper brickwork because they're old, sort of like they're all council houses. I think they were built like back in the 60s or whatever, and they're pretty you know, sturdy, these buildings. So they are. Oh, there's one Technic part. So that one, and then these two. So trying to mount anything, like trying to put the brackets up for the blinds, I tried doing that, and that took a year and a day with the Black & Decker drill that I have. But I need to lend of a decent drill at my cousin. He's got one that'll do the job. Proper heavy duty job. And then this last piece in here. So this last sloped piece will actually anchor in the rest of the building. If I can find it. Where have I put the bloody thing? Did I knock it on the floor? I don't think I knocked it on the floor. We're missing this one. Where's this one? Bet you it's in plain sight, as is always. Oh, there we go. Found it. It's not that big of a desk. I don't know how things are getting lost here already. Right, so 4 of these now. Showing these 4 in the corners. So yeah, have any of you guys actually see Star Wars in the cinema when it came out, the original series? You know, I'm sure not everyone was knocking around back then. Like I wasn't knocking around back then. That was before my time. Maybe some of the older generation, some of the old gits, just remember going to see Star Wars in the cinema. I'd love to see the originals. Like if there was a re-showing, I'd spend money on that. I'd spend money to go see the original series of Star Wars. The newer series, not so much. Like The Force Awakens was alright. I like Rogue One, but I don't know. It all went kind of downhill for me. You know what I mean? I just kind of lost interest in it. You know, I went and I saw them all in the cinema, but I just didn't really feel too bothered about it, you know. It was just like, It was Star Wars, but it was, yeah, I went to see them for the sake of seeing them, I think. That's what happened. Mousy's in, Tom. Nah, even I was too young to see it then, and I was born in 79. But they show them every Christmas, and I've got great childhood memories of them. Sweet. The old Christmas specials. Like, I never had any of the little... we never had any of the action figures, which I'm surprised with, because my stepdad really loves Star Wars, so I'm surprised he didn't buy. I thought he would have been interested in getting us into Star Wars, but maybe at that stage in the mid-90s, maybe Star Wars wasn't as big as it is now. Do you know what I mean? Because I remember the news of they were going to make the Phantom Menace, and the new Star Wars films were coming out. Why do you not want to sit properly? How about now? There we go. I do remember like the hype building up towards the Phantom Menace and seeing it in film. I actually liked it, funnily enough. And I watched it back again recently, and it's not a bad film at all. I couldn't believe what my ears heard when Mrs. Scarnier told me she doesn't know what Star Wars is. She's never watched any of them. I'm like, you what? Like, I'm just kind of shocked and appalled that there's people out there who haven't watched Star Wars. I'm like, what rock have you been living under? What? Like, what? Madness. You were saying what? Yeah, I didn't have Star Wars toys, but I had plenty of space Lego. The old space Lego. That was a little before my time, because when I was into Lego, like at my youngest, I remember seeing some of there was different phases of space Lego, wasn't there? There was like blue and yellow guys, and I think they were like early 80s. And then there was like Tron, wasn't there? It was like Tron Space Guys, and they were like black and red, and then there was like green Space Guys, and they were black and green, and they were just. I remember looking at like the Mars monorail kits and stuff in the catalogs. I think they were the sets just before I got into Lego as a kid. Like I think the earliest kit I had was a police kit, and I think I looked it up, and it was about, must have been like 92, 93. That was the first kit, but I used to play with the, I used to always build, where's the rest of this go? Oh, I used to always build with the Lego box up in my stepfather's mother, so my grandmother on my stepfather's side. I was forever, like every time I went up, I just played in they had a big bucket of Lego, and I just played with the bricks there. And I don't remember them having a lot of Lego men. We've knocked a bit off. Where's it gone? I don't remember them having a lot of Lego men. Oh Jesus. It's lost to the cause. I don't remember them having a lot of Lego men. I do remember them having a good few Technic bits. We found you. I do remember them having a fair few. I think that one goes there. I do remember them having a few Technic bits. I never really had a lot of Technic. I just had like normal Lego. So obviously this is going to be the display, and that's the core of our helmet. Oh, we're building blocks under here. All right. That's how it's going down now. Oh, we're missing some black tabs from under there. I keep knocking this piece off. Stay put. There you go. Yeah, I didn't have a lot of Technic. I had various different sets. There was... I think the first sort of theme sets I remember getting for Christmas was a little pirate galleon, and like there were like the soldiers that fought against the pirates. They had a little base, and the little cannons that you'd pull the cannons, and they were spring loaded, and you'd shoot out the circular bits, not these pegs, but you know what I mean, the tubular kind of bits. And we used to shoot them across at each other. I remember playing with my uncle in our front room and shooting them, and you'd shoot them across the room. Like, there was a fair bit of power in them, and he'd go behind the sofa and behind the cabinets and underneath furniture, and inevitably some of them would go missing. But there'd be hopefully you'd go looking for them. You know what I mean? An adult would lift the sofa for you, and you'd precariously crawl underneath and try and get the bit of Lego again and come out again. Yeah, I think I've done that with my nephew as well. Like, we've gone fishing for Lego bits, where you lift the sofa, and the kids tend to go under for whatever bit of Lego has gone missing, and you're left holding the sofa, gone, hurry up there now, come on, and the amount of stuff that'll be found, it's always funny. It's like, oh, I found me toy car, I haven't seen it in God knows how long. It's like, yeah, did you find the Lego? Yeah. And then I've rubbed, a bouncy ball and God knows what else. Maybe some spare change while you're at it too. And Return of the Jedi 2. Yeah, the blue was really early, and the black ones were later. I had a bit of both. Moon-based stuff was cool. Ooh. Yeah, man. I do remember staring at the catalogs. Thumbing them to pieces. You know what it's like when you're a kid and you don't have anything. It was like with the Games Workshop catalogs. Except you had to pay for the Games Workshop ones, funnily enough. I can remember like looking, like you'd flip through the catalog so much that like the pages would be, like the covers would be missing off of the catalog, and the pages would nearly be gone because you'd be flipping through it that much. You know what I mean? Looking at it going, oh, I'd love this miniature, I'd love that miniature. Or the Lego kits when you're a kid. There's a few castle sets. I think there was like the Robin Hood and his merry men, and the dragons and Merlin and all that. That was they were kits that were that were out and about. Where do all these two blacks come from? These two black pieces. So like there's a few older era kits that I didn't have myself, but I can remember from just staring at these Lego catalogs for, I'm sure, hours or days of my life at one point, wishing you could get some. And I used to love, do you know what I used to love to get? Like, we didn't have a lot of money when we were kids, but when you were given, you know, the little tiny boxes, I don't know if they still do them. They're only small boxes. The boxes were only about that big. They were only tiny, and it'd be a little tiny kit, maybe like a go-kart racer. So it'd be like a Lego man, and maybe a go-kart that was like literally this size or something, or even smaller a little bit. It was only a little tiny go-kart, and you used to get like one Lego guy, a steering wheel, 4 wheels, and like 4 or 5 other blocks, and that was it. I used to love those little kits, or you get like a street sweeper or like a snowmobile or something like that. We used to get those in our Christmas stockings. I remember getting them in our Christmas stockings off of Santa Claus. We used to, me and my brother, we'd have, because we'd put them on we had bunk beds when we were kids, so we'd put them on the corners of the bunk beds. I've had my sock, he had his, and then you'd wake up on Christmas morning, and then there'd be like a tube of like fruit pastels or something, and maybe like a little colouring book and some colours. There'd always be like a little tiny Lego kit, maybe a badge or a pin or something. I remember getting like a Power Rangers pin in my Christmas sock one year. You know what I mean? And then you'd go downstairs. Obviously that would keep us preoccupied for a while. And then we'd go downstairs and see what we'd been brought. If it was a lump of coal, if we'd been bad, or if we'd been good and gotten some presents. But yeah, I can remember the first sort of Christmas I remember I got some Lego. Yeah, I do remember. I would have been about 4 or 5. I was probably 4 going on 5. I remember getting Lego for Christmas. I do indeed. I had my heart set on the big galleon. And my stepdad's like, yeah, no bother. My mother was like, no, it's too big to fit down the chimney. So my mother must have had words with Santa Claus, and little Scarnier, little Dwayne got the small galleon. But I was chuffed, man. I thought it was great. I thought it was brilliant. Hours of fun. It had one cannon on like a turret in the middle of the ship. I really would love to try and rebuild it. See if I can buy the bits to rebuild it. I know I have the front and back hull section for it. I really would love to try and build some of those kits again. But I know I definitely don't have the instructions for them, so I'd have to go and try and remember what kits I didn't have as a kid. But there was a good few of them. There was all different play sets. There was like the pirates and like the Aztecs or the indigenous, where they had like red canoes. I remember having them. There was like aqua bases. So there was like yellow submarines fighting against like black and blue shark submarines. I remember having like an ice space sort of rocket satellite launcher thing. There's a few distinct pieces I remember having. I think the last kit I got when I was about 14 or 15 was like a Rock Raiders kit. That was the last big kit I remember getting as a kid. And then after that, I think the next bit of Lego I bought after that is I actually have a few of the Lego board games. There was like sort of a Dungeon Explorer type board games that Lego did. I think it was called Heroica. I have a few of them. And then there's just the odd few bits of Lego here and there for Star Wars that I have now. But I don't have a lot. But I have a fair few bits and pieces. But I haven't mixed me Lego Star Wars in with the old Lego bucket yet. I'm sure that is it's bound to happen eventually. I don't know. I find with the Lego Star Wars kits, like they tend to be. Does this go on the front or the back? This goes on the back. They tend to be... I think this is missing a bit. At least that bit won't be falling off anymore. They're more like sort of displays. You know what I mean? Like if I was playing an Ultimate Collector series, I wouldn't break it up and put it in the box. But like if it's not Ultimate Collector series, just fucking... just throw it in the box with the rest of them. These boyos I wouldn't say would be getting broken up. They're sort of more... I think these are kind of aimed at the likes of me. You know, big kids who never grew up. No harm in it. But yeah, there's loads of kits. I'm sure there's loads of kits in my Lego box that I've forgotten about. I remember having a very distinct, like a little red biplane. It was only about that big. So the wingspan and the tail. It was like an American Eagle biplane. So it was red, and I can remember that. What else can I remember? I'm trying to remember the kits that I had as a kid. I can just remember building robots and stuff. Oh, I had a lot of Egyptian stuff as well. When the Egyptian stuff, the adventure stuff, when that first came out. I think it was in the early 2000s. Or the late 90s. When it was probably all got popular when The Mummy came out. There was a big fad for Egyptian themed stuff. So I know there was Egyptian Lego sets. I remember cracking on with them. Orc stuff is saying, I usually found Lego when I stepped on it barefooted. Oof. Oh. I mean, stepping on Lego barefoot was bad. I think the worst experience I've ever had of stepping on something barefoot was when I was only a kid. I was walking down the stairs and my mother was forever like leaving the hairdryer on. Do you know the way your mother or your missus might leave something on the stairs with the intention of bringing it up when they're going up, right? So she had left her hairdryer on the stairs with the intention of bringing it upstairs eventually when she goes that way. Yeah? But the three-prong plugs that we have here, that was face up. So when I was walking down the stairs, our carpet was green at the time, and it was a green hairdryer. So you can kind of see where this is going. And Morgan's here, walking down the stairs, minding his own business, and lo and behold, thankfully it was near the bottom of the steps, so I didn't have too far to try and brace myself. But boy, Jesus, it was an experience to say the least. Tom was saying there's crazy space Lego people on Pinterest now making insane custom space Lego sets. We don't have dreamt of back then. Worth having a look. Oh, really? There's a rumour that Dredd had the big galleon. If you find out where his mum lives and burgle her attic, you can still get it. I had remembered Dredd saying something about that. So I might have to go pillaging his Lego box before he finds it. But I do know it's like the Lego box is still in my mother's attic. I know it's still there. It hasn't been sold off or given away to nephews. No, my grandmaster plan there was to give him enough Lego so he had his own Lego box. My nephew, I've bought him a few pieces. I actually bought my brother. He was only 30 there the other year, not this year, last year. I got him. We never had Lego train sets as kids. You know yourself, it's always like, oh yeah, I'd love to, and they're 150 odd quid or whatever. They were always big money, the Lego train sets. So like, you know, I bought me nephew one of the train sets for Christmas. So I'd been keeping my eye on them on Amazon. I think I bought it in like a Black Friday sale or something like that, and I got about like 30 quid off it. So I got it decent. I got my brother one for his birthday then, because he had so much fun with my nephew. So I bought him a train set for his birthday last year, and it's I think my nephew still hasn't managed to get his hands on it. He's more of the, you know, he's one of those little boys that are just sort of you know those kids that have a knack to anything they put their hand to just seems to come to pieces. That's my nephew. So I'm surprised. My brother has his Lego train up high on the kitchen cupboards, so it's still in one piece to this day. But hopefully it stays that way. But I just find it funny. Yeah, my nephew, man, if he gets his hand to anything, game over. So we're building the back of the helmet here. Here's another piece there. But that's the fun of Lego with kids. It's like they can smash it and it's not the end of the world. Just rebuild it or build something else out of it. You know what I mean? Have a bit of fun, have a bit of creativity. Doesn't matter what the kid is originally. That's why when I was buying him stuff, I went out of my way to get him just, the generic sort of yellow creator. So it's not a specific kit, it's just like a box with loads of bricks. I was trying to aim and get him some more of that stuff rather than a specific kit. You know what I mean? So it hopefully fuel his imagination a bit. I have to say, usually I'm a bit better at building these. But I'm blasting through. I feel like I've forgotten to put a lot of these on. Let me have a look. This happened the last time. Or is there more steps? There's probably more steps. Oh, of course, there's more steps. What have we got here? We've got this one there. And we've got that one there. It's kind of hard to try to differentiate where like some of these little blocks go when the instructions is like, I'm trying to see if any of this, if I'm missing any of this, and it's all a lot of white on white. So it's like, yeah. I think I realise where I might be missing stuff. I might not have them there. It's, I'm just trying to compare what I can see. No, it all looks like it's kind of there. That one's built up to that there. No, I think we're doing alright. So far, so good. And now to bag 3. So that's what was left over there. For some reason, I have a good feeling that these two should be on it, but apparently not. Unless I missed out. But, no, I don't see it. Right, on to the next bag. At least they're still there on the table. It's not like we're chucking them out as we're going along. Essex said he remembers having the Lego airport. That was awesome. We didn't have a lot of Lego city stuff. I remember having like one Lego city road tile, and I remember now it was 2 dragsters. So they were like dragster. It was like 2 dragster races. The American style ones that are long and narrow and have the big fins and the big block engines. It was that sort of Lego city kit. I think that was the only piece of road we had. Any of the other sort of like terrain piece tiles, they were either like river bends or like slightly mountainous from the from one of the indigenous bases that I had, the sort of Aztec or Peruvian versus pirate bases I had, and they were cool. I must have got a few like pirate kits over the years, because I had a few rowing boats, the little brown rowing boats, and they'd all have their oars and their little sails. I used to think they were hilarious. I never like put me Lego in water though. I know like some kids like taking them into the bathtub with them and stuff. I never liked getting it wet. I always just used to like just playing with it on the carpet and pretend the carpet was like a sea or an island, or you know the way there'd be like floral patterns in the carpet. You'd let your imagination run wild. Or maybe the floor was lava. That was another one. So we're building what looks to be the front face section now, and what will be the front mask section. So hopefully I'll get it right this time. The last time I forgot to put a red piece in. It wouldn't quite sit together. Orc stuff saying broken lumps of flint were worth avoiding if you were running barefoot on the beach. 4 stitches and 2 or 3 injections in that. Oh, broken bits of flint. I don't actually think I've seen a piece of flint in the wild. Mind you, I've lived most of my life in a city. so that's not too surprising. But I know there's certain parts of the UK where flint is abundant. Like, it's all over the place. You can get a lot of flint. I'm sure there's probably places in Ireland where you can get a lot of flint as well, but I've never come across it, I don't think. Maybe I have and I haven't realised it. But I've never really come across a lot of it in the wild. Be interesting to I'd always I like trying me hand at stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like I have a survival knife, only a little one, and I was trying to do some wood whittling with it for the laugh, really. But I always like trying me hand at it. Actually, this was a twig or a branch that I had, and I just sort of whittled it down, and I just wanted to sort of drill out the core of it and put like the center of a pen. It's just, it's just a pen. I wanted to make a pen, but that was a stick, and I whittled it down a bit. But I'm always sort of interested in trying my hands at like little creative endeavors, and I'd really like to try and do flint napping. I think that's what it's called, where you get the piece of flint and you'll have a piece of leather and you have a stone and you'll strike it and you'll make like a flint head or a cutting tool or that type of stuff. I wouldn't mind trying me hand at that. There's a few little bits and pieces that I'd like to give a go, just for the experience of it. Don't know why. Bit of an inquisitive mind when it comes to the likes of that. Anything sort of creative. I always found that fascinating. I think I always found the idea of flint fascinating as a kid, because they were, you'd always see in the cartoons and whatever, they'd be like, 2 bits of flint, man make fire. You know what I mean? So I always found that type of thing fascinating. What goes here? There's a 4-piece that goes there, so that goes there. I should really read the instructions instead of nattering on as much as I am. That bit goes there. One of these goes here. You can understand how I'm getting a little bit confused every now and then, because most of it is like 1s, 2s, 4 blocks. This gets turned around. Okay, it's placed there. Right, happy days. We're getting somewhere. And then the corners go yonder. Never seen the likes of these before. Most of the other stuff I can remember, but this looks like it's supposed to be a shield or something for something. And it's being it looks like it's supposed to be a shield or something along that lines, and it's being taken and used in this project. I always find that interesting when you find blocks that are typically used for one thing and then used for something else. Like, I can remember as a kid, see the colour of these? I remember having little flowers, and then they'd be these sort of stubs, but with the hole in the centre of them, and there was little tiny green flowers, and you put like loads of the stubs as like the flowers blooming on them. I remember that. That was like a blue bucket I had as a kid. It was a Lego basic set. I remember it was a Lego basic set, and it was a blue bucket, and you could build quite a few bits and pieces out of it. That was one of the earlier kits I had. You could build different things out of it. I remember you could build like a ship or a little man or a stadium. There's a few different pieces you could make out of it, because it was all in the instruction book. Right, what are we looking for? We are looking for these sort of T-shaped, these guys. That one, and there's a second one. If I can find it here somewhere. It doesn't help that most of this is white. Probably should have sorted it a bit more. There's the other one. But definitely, I have fond memories of building with Lego. For years and years and years. I'm sure when I have sprugs of my own, they'll have fun building Lego. Right, so this is the upper part, the forehead section of the helmet, pretty much is what we're looking at. So we have our build. This is the forehead. section of the Stormtrooper helmet. If you're kind of getting the profile, look, maybe that's a bit too close. Here, that's the back, top, forehead. This will be the front mask place that we're going to build next. I'll put that over there. Boop. Right, so we're starting to build pieces on the front side. So 2 it is. So there's a lot of little tiny gribbly bits. Greeblies, I think they call them in Star Wars. So it's just like generic shapes that are put on to flat surfaces, undulations of forms, shapes to break up the surface. It's kind of like what we do when we're doing our orc builds or our conversions. We do the same thing with rivets and armor panels and strips of metal and whatever. You're sort of breaking up the surface of the project with you know, generic detail, so it breaks it up a bit, you know. Visually, it looks visually more to scale or realistic in that regard. We've got a 2 block here. We've got a 1 block going in here. What in the hell is this for? It's supposed to be the side of his head, I reckon. What do you reckon? I only kind of reckon this because we built the last one not too long ago, and I kind of remember a little bit what order things get built in. The Orc stuff is saying first Lego sets I got had red bricks, white bricks and grey baseboards and no instructions. Just think of something and then build it. What ultimately, that's the way it kind of ends up. You know what I mean? The way it was in my house is you'd get your kit, you'd build it, you'd throw out the box, you'd try hold on to the instructions, but inevitably they'd go missing too. And after that, you know what I mean? It'd all go into the box. It'd all go back into the box. So whenever you wanted to play with Lego, it became that. It just became the build whatever you're building type thing. You know what I mean? Now we need a 4 block. And we've got a 2 block that needs to go there. Yeah, that guy goes here. That guy goes there. Is there any more of these? I'm missing a 1 block off of there. And there's supposed to be something here. There's supposed to be a 1 block there. I suppose maybe this is where I learned a lot of the visual referencing, is just from looking at this all the time. I'm going to have to build another one of these exactly the same once it lets me open up the other bag. So I'm going to need one of these. There is a lot of white. I've never owned so many white pieces before. Like, I think most of the stuff I had was like various colours, but I can remember a lot of it being grey, like stone or various colours. I had a fair bit of this type of colour from the Egyptian sets, this sort of tan colour, but mostly like a lighter tone of grey than this even, I can remember, with the blocks. There was a lot of them. Right, where's that other one go? That one, that one, that one. That was the last one there, I think. Is that down? No, that's not down. That needs to go down. Right, so there's a 2 piece that needs to go here. I'll build that up. And we'll build that up, I think. No, that's right. Starting to get confused now. There's that many white pieces. Jesus. Boop. Boop. So are we all looking forward to the potential release for Orc stuff on Friday? Apparently. There's going to be a release on Friday. Supposed to, oh, that's what it is. I see what it is now. Right, so this part goes onto this section. Boop. Starting to build rim of the helmet. That edge. It's actually very smartly done. So that's what we've got done here. And now to the other side. This is what we're on to next. So 2 ones and 2 of our little sort of 90-degree pieces. And build, throw them together. Yeah, my building these for terrain pieces. I'm just building them as they were gifts for me, so they'll sit on my windowsill, or they'll go up on the shelves once I get an end of a drill that can actually go into a concrete wall. You know, something serious with a bit of oomph in it. And once I do that, I'll be grand. I even I have the shelves and everything. I've got like pine wood shelving. Got some shelving. It's just a matter of it's sorted, you know, our shelf. Suppose with the new job I'm starting, I'll be working reasonable hours, so I might actually be able to get stuff done. That's the problem when you work night shifts. By the time you wake up, everybody else is all the other neighbours tend to be wanting to go to bed. So, you know, trying to do DIY at 2 or 3 in the morning tends to be frowned upon. I mean, I'm sure you can try it, but I don't think the neighbours will be happy with you. You know what I mean? Habitat Collector is saying he's looking forward to orc stuff. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they give us. That it will. I'd be interested to see what other super secret pieces they have for us. So we know about the Pain Boy, and we've sort of sussed out the potential character re-release with Wart Snagger. I need a piece there. Do we think it's going to be Wart Snagger? I think it probably is going to be Wart Snagger. Re-released. If anybody doesn't know who Wart Snagger is, he is a Runt-Herder special character. But it's a bit weird in my eyes to be bringing out a Runt-Herder special character when the Runt-Herder character seems to be a bit neglected at the moment. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's just the fact that nobody really takes them with their unit or grots. Not that they really take their unit or grots anymore now that they're 5 points apiece. But we won't dwell on that fact. No. It's okay. We'll let them take the mantle for that one. Alright, where's that piece? I'm looking this bit. That can go there. I think there's a piece missing here. There is a piece missing there. That one. That was a little one white pieces. Quite a few of them actually. And this goes here. Here? No. One up. This goes here. It's a bit strange the way they made these pink, but I suppose it's probably to make them stand out for you. I suppose. Trying to think about it. I think that's what it's for. Where is it? This piece goes here. This will be the side section of his helmet again. The other side. So this side section, like that. Happy days. Oh, trying to come off. Alright. Make sure it's actually staying together. That's what we've got so far. The top and the back. This is our front. Right. So, what have we got now? Grey L section. We've got a blue hook. We've got a 3 white piece. I'd be interested to see if they bring out that vehicle that was in the orc glyphs. That advertisement, if that's going to be an orc vehicle for us, or if it was just something that they drew. I think it probably will be an orc vehicle for us. This one, I need this one, and I need this one, and this piece, and not that piece, but this piece, so that's probably for the other side. And then we'll throw that onto that. And then this connects, oh, it's his eye. That's what it is. Because that connects in there. It's his eye. So that's one. And we'll build the other one. Try and get her done. Build blue on there. We need to kidnap the GW sculptors and make them make more orc things, like keep them in a cellar, misery style, until they make true works of art. And what do we do? Do we just like burn the miniatures in front of them if we're not happy with the results? Kind of misery style as well. Isn't that what she does in the film? He writes a whole thing. Or does she read his original draft? I can't remember, but he does write a piece. And then he I know that he escapes in the end and then he kills off the characters, a sort of revenge. There's his other eye. Could you imagine that? That'd be hilarious. Killing off the orcs because they're sick of listening to us. These miserable gits, they're never happy. This is the front ventilation piece. They're never happy. We give them speed freaks, not happy. We give them a pain boy, not happy. No pleasing these gits, I tell you. No pleasing them. 4 section and this section, and we have that piece and these pre-printed pieces which are weird. That goes there. Oh, sticker time. Don't choke. See if we can get it sorted. Wet the old whistle. Nattering away does indeed. Alright, so we need sticker number 4. In this orientation, it needs to go that way. Not that that matters too much. Now, where did I put... There we go. Get out my old Tamiya tool set. Hopefully this will help. My Captain Butterfingers over here. As you can tell, we take applying our stickers very seriously here. Don't mess it up. Hey, I'm actually quite happy with that one. It's very well positioned. Tweezers, Jesus, there you go, there's the answer. It's not perfect, but it'll do. I used to hate that as a kid. If you got stickers and you didn't align them nicely, it used to irritate me. Oh, it used to do me nothing. Like, I don't have ADHD or anything like that, but it just used to annoy me. So it did. It used to do me bleeding nothing. Like, even if my brother got kits, I'd be like, I'll do the stickers for you. You stand back now. I'll do the stickers for you there, bro. Don't worry about it, alright? I'll sort it out. And he was quite happy to. 9 times out of 10. I was a dab hand with them. This one. Right, so we flip this over, and this is going to be that section there. That piece goes there. Right. And this goes on there. And then we have to build the other side. So this is going to be like the front, like the mount section. You can see that's why it's kind of printed. So that must be unique. So I don't understand why they printed there, but they didn't bother printing on this one. Bit weird. Mostly saying is asking, does anyone use any kind of stickers for orc stuff, like maybe little checker stickers for gods and stuff, or goths even? Damn, autocorrect. I don't myself. I don't even use the, the decal sheet that we get. I don't use decals at all, and I probably should do, because I bought some Vallejo color paint sets, and there's some decal softener and decal set in it, because the thing I never really liked of them was the shine on them, but there's no reason not to. There's a couple of tricks you can use to blend them together, and we're on to another sticker. So we are number 5, Mambo number 5. But yeah, I never bother with stickers or decals, or I think it's because I never quite finished them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I haven't fully finished or painted stuff, and I never varnished them. The rest of the war bosses give out to me for never varnishing me miniatures, but I'm like, I never varnished them because they're never finished, like, you know what I mean? Today we finish a miniature, Jesus. The apocalypse. Wouldn't know what would happen. But yeah, I reckon decals do look cool. Sid, the drunken orc, he was showing a few of his miniatures. He did up some of the bad moons, I think it was, and I noticed he had put some of the decals on some of the checkered stripes, and they actually looked really good. And I was like, I've literally got like sheets upon sheets of them that I just don't use. This other one goes onto this section now. This tweezers actually works surprisingly well with these stickers. I should do that more often. Mind you, it makes me feel like I'm taking building Lego kits a bit too serious. Alright, now, did I remember to put the right blocks in this time? Because I remember the last kit I was trying to build live. Hey, remember this time. That was a pain in the ass because I'd forgotten to put one of the layers of red in, which didn't help. So that's how he's looking. Front section. Onto bag number 4. There's an awful lot of Lego bits here. But okay. Apparently they're spares, so we'll treat them as spares. We're on to our second last bag of our build. Ooh. Who's saying about decals? No, don't use any decals for my orcs. They look too regular, says Essex Boys. Essex, I've actually seen a decent trick that Darren Layton used. Where if you put them on, if you take the base colour that they're over and you paint over them again, it makes it look like they're scratched. So you can make them look worn and scratched. If you take, like, say we were putting on the base of Death Core Drab, and then we put like the checkers over. You can just get a bit of Death Core Drab and then sort of paint in, and it makes it look like it's scraped or lifted up. You could do it that way. That'd be pretty sweet. That's a lot of white, man. Like, Jesus. I use the little decals, but often paint over them. Yeah, definitely use a wash to take off the shine. Definitely. Or someone was saying about Latme and medium. Have you tried the panel markers for making check set scar? I tend to paint them myself. The Gundam panel markers, no, I haven't tried the Gundam panel markers on Games Workshop kits yet, but I have been mucking around with them. So the grey in between here, These are panel markers. You can tell because I haven't done the other leg yet. So that's a leg that's not been done. In fact, make it easier the comparison. I'll just take it off. So this leg I've done with the Gundam panel markers. Apparently they're alcohol based. And then this one I haven't done yet. So it's just sort of pops the detail on it a bit. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. It's an interesting concept. I'm sure it could be transferred over and used on miniatures, definitely. You can see like in the gaps that I haven't done it on the other leg yet. But yeah, the panel line markers, they're pretty sweet for the old Gundams or Gunpla kits or whatever they call them. The plastic robot dollies. And they're weird altogether. That's like building a scale model kit and then ending up with an action figure. It's just like, eh? The posability on them is awesome, but it's just weird. Tom was saying, I normally paint checkers. The decals are good on the Gargan because there's so much space on the armor plates. Yeah. Any old trick will help. A6 is saying, Lamy medium is great for taking off the shine on decals. That's true, yeah, yeah. Any sort of like matte medium, that'll do it. Or if you can't get your hands on it, you can just get like a spray matte medium as well. That'll do it. But Lamy medium's pretty good. Definitely a good trick there. Bit more control if you're just using it straight out of the pot and put it on your shelf. Good man, your shelf. Right, what piece are we building here? I bet you this is the side. So, side jaw must be. Side jaw piece. Right, we have this guy. We have this piece going in here. We have another one of these dudes. This piece going in here. This must be like the mount ventilator part. Comes around the side. Boop. Boop. Then we've got this one here. And we're just throwing bricks in as and when they are needed. Thomas saying, I'll try that, thanks. Yeah, paint a little bulk on metal scratches over the checkers. Yeah, definitely. It really does help them blend in. The difference is night and day. I6 is saying, yeah, use a sponge with the base colour over panels for chip and looks cool. It definitely does, man. It really does tie it in. And I6 is saying, those panel markers look like they work really well. They do, especially on the white. There's 3 of them I bought. I brought a brown one, a grey one, and a black one. And I've misplaced my black one. The black panel line marker. And I've bought other ones as well for using with the Zaku's, but I haven't tried them out yet. But they're bigger. So it's like you're supposed to get the marker and then dispense it onto like some metal or something and then paint with it. And I'm like, that kind of defies it, the point of them. But the finer tip ones I like. They seem to work pretty well. I was trying to test them out on some of the 3D printed terrain that I have done. Because I think that they'd work really well on them, just sort of in black. Just trying them out that way. You know what I mean? I'm looking for a triangle, this piece. I reckon they'd work well. They'd probably work well with, like, if you did contrast, and then if you wanted a cartoony look, and then just separated the parts visually using panel liners, and you can get that sort of like the black, you know, like in cartoons or comics, the way it's sort of what's it called? You could do kind of like cell shading type of thing, maybe. That's a different technique, sort of, but you get what I mean. Like where if the outlines are always black, or the differences between 2 colors are always black. So like my top and the color of my neck would be, there'd be a black border in between the 2. If it was a comic. So it would. That goes there, and that goes there, and there. And that'll go on top of this piece, but I need to sort this piece out first. Here we go. What do we need? One of them. And one of them. Oh, there's a piece under that again. Oh, I'm supposed to have built this first. Before. This is supposed to be a separate piece I'm supposed to have built. But I've just sort of bodged it on. Telling you, definitely gonna forget something at this rate. Sort of blasting through and hoping for the best. Simply the best. That can go there. And then we'll throw some of these 4 blocks on. So apparently there's this 4 block. There's that 4 block. And there's that one. Oh, it's getting built up. It's getting there. It's getting there. So much white. My God. So it says to stack 2 of them there and then build 2 of them together and stack 2 of them there. There apparently. Right, so 1 here. And then there's one of these, I think it goes there. I don't know, it doesn't actually say, it just looks like there's one there. And it tells you to put the other one there. You know, I'm not joking, by the way. It's kind of like, here, we'll tell you where one of them goes, but you have to figure out for yourself that the other one goes there. You get me? It's like, you're a bright spark, you got this far, you'll figure it out. Just a little challenge. They're just testing us to make sure we're paying attention. That's what's going on. That's exactly what's going on. They're just testing us right now. So if I'm saying, so if Saga stuff comes out Friday, will we see Cyborgs on Discord next week? Maybe? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised with our community. Some of the lads build at prodigious rates, at absolutely crazy rates. Obviously not me, because, you know, 1, I'm a hobby butterfly, so I jump from project to project, and 2, I paint at a glacial pace. So when I do get some progress done on something, it's very slow. I think that's what I like about Lego. It's just like, once it's built, it's built. Well, that's probably a thing I like about the Gundam kits as well, is you don't have to paint them. You can just build them, and they're done. But they are actually really nice kits, surprisingly. I'm not too enamored with some of the animations. Like, they're all right. I'm not really big into the Japanese method of storytelling with their animations. They're a bit weird. That's in the wrong place. That needs to be there. Now it makes sense. Or sort of abstract, kind of, I think, is the terminology I should probably use compared to what we're used to with Western culture. They're a bit different. Why do I feel like there's a block missing there? Why is there a piece missing there? Beep bop boop. Huh. Yeah, that's correct. Oh, alright. I'm jumping the gun. That's what I'm doing. I'm jumping the gun. That's built. Alright. So where does this 4-piece go? I'm loving this. It's like, build 2 pieces. We'll tell you where one of them goes. So I need to figure out. Alright. So it goes on that piece. Right, okay, so that's done. Right, so it's telling me to build this piece. That piece there. That bit there. And that needed to be pushed down more. But there's a gap here. This is weird. This is very weird. And why is there a gap? There's a gap. There's There's a gap. Okay. It's telling me to put a gap there, so there's a gap there. Boop. One of them. And one there. Like, it's not even telling me anymore. It's just like, figure it out for yourself. One there. I think one goes there. I think one goes there. Looks right. Like, I'm not joking. It's not even telling me anymore. It's just like, these pieces. Go here somewhere. Figure it out for yourself. See what I mean? This is what, we're not even getting arrows anymore, people. Two of them's. Here, these white pieces go on top of these white pieces. Can you spot the difference? Yeah, you need to be good at spot the difference with this build. You really do. That's built. Ah, sticker time. It is telling me stickers number 1. 2 stickers number 1. Oh, they're going on one of these and one of these. So 2 number 1 stickers. And number 1 and number 3 will be on the other side. Okay. 2 1s, 2 3s. So this isn't confusing at all. Whoop. Another 1. So these ones are slightly offset. That's the difference between them. Whereas these ones are pretty sorted. Come on now. Come on. Gonna have to squish. Give it the squish. Squish it more that way. Well, we made a balls of one of them. Well, kind of. Ish. Give it a squish. Have to do, I suppose. It'll have to do. You think for an orc player I wouldn't be so fussy about like the stickers being so precise. They're alright. Right, so now it's telling me to do these ones. 3 in the size orientation. So, stickers. Never thought you to, you know, bet you never thought you to be tuning in May the 4th to watch Scarnier put stickers on Lego pieces. But there you go. So if I was saying, mostly saying, on some vehicles I use plastic card that is for pavement, I think. Basically checks, makes it slightly easier to paint. Well, see, the trick with like checks and dags and stuff is some of the guys who do converting got really smart. Oh. And they got really smart with the converting and they started doing their, is it 2 number 3? It's 2 number 3. They got really smart with the old converting and when it came to like checks and dags and stuff, they just made them themselves 3-dimensionally so that you don't have to worry about painting them as much, because so much easier when it's a three-dimensional piece. If you get me. No, don't be doing that to me now. That'll do. As in, like, do I have a piece here? Where's the turret off of me grot tank gone? I did some three-dimensional dags or checks on it. I don't even know where the turret's gone now. But there was it's on this. Oh, there it is. It's on this mess of a desk somewhere. If you do them as raised areas in and of themselves, it can be let's get whatever dust is on this, because it's been sitting on the desk a while. So this is going to be checks. You can see where I just did like the squares. So it'll be like a stripe that way. If you just do a raised area, it makes life a hell of a lot easier when it comes to painting. So you can do that sort of thing. Same with dags and whatever else you want to do. Let's have a look. What is left to do? This one and this one. Or use 1 mil, 0.5 mil plastic art and make checks tags. Takes longer, but can take. Yeah, can take longer. You're right. Takes longer, but looks better. I do apologize if there's a super delay between me and the stuff being typed up. There seems to be a bit of a delay, alright. This piece is next. I'm looking forward to Dune coming out. The new Dune film. Looking forward to that coming out in the cinema. Wouldn't mind seeing it in the cinema if I get the chance. Boop. That goes there. This piece. I don't remember seeing that one. Where's this go? This goes here. Ah, this covers over this gap. No wonder. It's starting to make sense now. I was wondering. I was like, why is there a gap left in the side of it? Come on now, lads. Jesus. I was wondering. I was a bit confuzzled. Bip, bop, bop. Throw that on there. Throw that on there. Throw this piece on there. And then a number 3 piece there. 3 long. And then this piece. And that piece. And then flip it. And then that one. Flip it. Reorientate it. Then it tells you to put, well, then it tells you that piece goes somewhere. You have to figure that out for yourself. You have to flip this over in that orientation and put that piece there. Which will be this way, which will be that way, and connects there. So that's what that is. So that's that cheek. Oop, getting there. Apparently so. We're on step 175 and the last bag. So step 175 out of 230. We still have stickers to do. We're on to just the final countdown. Ooh. Do you remember I was talking about that biplane earlier? That red biplane I remember having. It was like an American Eagle one. I remember I had this as like the engine cowling. I can remember now because it had like the propeller in the middle of it. This was sort of the engine cowling. And this was mounted to the main body of the plane by one of these type of bricks. But it was a technical one, so it had holes in it. So there was 2 pegs coming out there. Like that onto the plane. So you can tell it was only a small plane. It wasn't very big. But I can remember. That's weird how... Because that's the only time I owned one of these pieces was for that biplane. I think that's why it's so distinct in my head. I can remember it. Soy cans. Mossy Zen is saying, yeah, I've seen Roxy and others make plastic card checks. I'm too lazy for that though. I prefer painting them. This is true, Tom. It is, you know. Yeah, I did that for the checks on my Battle Fortress Sid's Battle Fortress Odium. I do like the conning tower, Sid. It was an absolutely genius touch to that Battle Fortress. It's proper orky. I do like that Battle Fortress. It is inspiring me somewhat, but you know, my laziness is like, you know, the fact that I have two Bane blades, you know, for such a project already is besides the point. You know what I mean? Well, there was a project I was trying to build a crawler. Is what I was looking to do. So I bought two Bane blades, and then I bought the turret section off of another Bane blade, and it was supposed to be like, it was a custom rule set that we had for when we used to do WA meets. I actually have the rules for it knocking around somewhere. How in the Jesus? Oh, that goes that way like that. There's rules. One of the guys, DJ, who would meet up with us at the meets, he made a rule set, and it's literally called the Custom Crawler Creator. And you would just pay for. It's basically a vehicle building rule set, and you'd pay so many points for weapons, for shields, for extra hit points and stuff. Yeah, and it would be hilarious. I think his was made out of two Bane blades, I think, and then the main turret on it was the middle section of a Bane blade. So you know where there's like the tracks on the lower deck, and then there's sort of like a raised area. His turret was made out of that raised area with another turret on top, I think, or did it? No, it didn't have another turret on top. It was made out of that raised area, and then that raised area had 3 Bane blade battle cannons built into it. And then it was just, it was just hilarious. It was just absolutely covered in guns. It was a thing of beauty. Still is. It's still knocking around. We just haven't seen it. Last time I saw it was at one of the WA meets, but it was glorious. In fact, the last time I remember seeing DJ's crawler, it was being eaten by Orc Stuff's Gargant. And chewing it up all together. That was a great battle, that was. I was trying to hold back a Gargant with a tide of boys, and my boys did not last very long. I mean, if you brought a load of Mega Knobs along to delete it, you could deal. But, you know, what's the fun in that? What's the point in bringing just like a load of Mega Knobs just to kill somebody's Gargant? You want to see the big boys shooting against the big boys, you know what I mean? I want to see the big stuff slugging it out. It'd be a bit boring. I'd much prefer to see like a Gargant on the tabletop than a unit of 10 Mega Knobs. Because you'll see a unit of 10 Mega Knobs, you know, more often than you'll see a Gargant on the table. So I'd like to, personally, I like to see them on the table, and I like to see the big stuff fighting other big stuff. That's another thing I learned from running big games. You kind of need big stuff to fight big stuff, so you kind of match people off. So, for instance, if Tom came along with his Gargant, I'd probably match him up against Orc Stuff, because Orc Stuff has a Gargant or two. Because his Stomper scale is massive. Absolutely massive. It's quite funny, actually. Because his Gargant started off as a Stomper, but it's like 2.5 Stompers tall. It's big enough. Like, its power fist is the size of a truck. We measured it. It's got like a big power claw, a big block of a power claw with claws coming out of it, and it's literally the gauntlet part of it. Like literally that part of his Gargant. See that gauntlet part of his power claw? That's the size of a truck. That's how big this thing is. And he was, you know, oh, it's a Stomper, lads. It's like, no. It deserves better rules than that, my good friend. 'Tis a thing of beauty. But yeah, I'd love to see that. All the boys with their toys, custom battle fortresses and whatnot. Drunken Orc, but that assumes I can cut plastic art perfectly, or can't paint a straight line. Sci-fi. I think the crawler had 3 turrets with triple plasma blast cannons in each turret. It had standard Baneblade turrets as side sponsons, I think. It was mad. It was absolute madness. Tom was saying I draw lines in with pencil over the white, but I don't measure anything. I just do it neatly by eye. It looks about right. Orc stuff is saying it's growed a bit. It sounds great. Gargant scale then. Yeah, it definitely is, man. It's definitely Gargant scale. Smoggy is Gargant scale. He's a big boy. Don't know what they've been feeding him, but boy Christ, he's being eaten. He is indeed a big boy. I don't know if I still have a picture on the wall. There's a picture I printed off from one of the wild meets that I did have attached to the wall where it was Smoggy eating the crawler. And it was glorious. So you have this big sort of tank fortress that was shooting chunks out of the Gargant or the stuff around, while the Gargant slowly, relentlessly marching on. Just you can imagine like shuddering the table as it goes. And then it's finally getting across the table and tearing into him. Glory. That's what apocalypse battles are about. Orc stuff is saying a lot of empty bean tins went to. Well, yeah, he weighs a fair bit. I can remember helping you to pack him up one of the days, and Jesus, he's got lead in his arse, all right. I'll say that much. He's got a fair lump of lead in him. These little gubbins. One goes there. Where's the other one go? Are you going to tell me? Are you going to leave me guessing yet again, Lego? Right, so it tells me that one of them goes there. Doesn't tell me where the other one goes. Does say that there's two though. One goes there then. I have to play spot the difference with these instructions. Boop 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 boop. I think there's not too much left on this one. There was a bit more with the TIE Fighter Pilot because you had to build the coils that come out and around this helmet. So this one I think is actually got a few less pieces in it maybe. And then this one goes there and that one goes there. Yep. So we've got this one, we have this one here, that goes there, and then we have to build the circular sections around here. But yeah, lads, I'm definitely looking forward to when we're all sorted and vaccinated and whatever else, and when lockdown's sorted again and everything goes back to some semblance of normality. What level of normality we'll get back to, I've no idea, but once things get back to some form of normality and we can get, big apocalypse games going again, it'd be great crack. You know what I mean? Definitely would be. It'd be great to see some of the guys going toe to toe, seeing some of the big guns fighting against each other. I'd like to see Sid's fortress in action. It'd be hilarious. I didn't push this down far enough again. I did the same thing the last time around. You'd think I would have learned my lesson, but I don't know. No. That would require listening or paying attention. We're in the last stretch, lads. There's only a few bits. Oh, very schwank. I like these plates. These are cool. Very nice. Are the Ultimate Collector Series ones printed on, or are they stickers? I don't have an Ultimate Collector Series. Where is that piece I'm looking for? Jesus. There it is, hiding under there. Of course you're hiding under there. Where else would you be hiding? Nowhere else but in plain sight. We're getting there. Thomas saying, my old Gargant had a plant pot hull, a broken Hoover, a broken coffee machine, and a couple of tin cans as its base materials. Like, if that's not orky upcycling, I don't know what is. Sounds glorious. I know Smoggy's made from all sorts. I'm sure orc stuff can rattle off. I remember him talking to me about solenoids and bits of camera for eyes and all manner of gubbins-y bits. All the good stuff, like two-piece. There's a two-piece, and then we have another two-piece. There's a two-piece going there, and then we have these two, and we're going to have to start putting stickers on stuff again soon, I bet you. Watch. Ah, there we go. See, look. Now, if you don't mind, put some stickers on them. If you like it, then you should have put a sticker on it. Right, so 2 number 1 stickers. Number 1. Number Wang. Right. Whoop. I like Tamiya's stuff. Like, I like that little sort of travel hobby case. Actually went on pretty easy. So I do, but it's a bit pricey for what it is in my eyes. Like, it was €30. I'm like, oof, it's a bit steep. I suppose you're paying for the novelty of it. It's more, I think it's sort of more designed for, like, it's a basic tool set. I think it's more for like RC cars and stuff, and like, I know people with Gundam kits, they go to Gundam clubs and they'll travel. Like, I know they do that in Japan. They'll go to, like, their local pub or whatever, and there'll be like little pubs set up, and they'll have, like, it'd be like going down to your local and you've got a scale model that you constantly build and put away again. Like, they store it for you and then take it out when you're there. You know what I mean? They set up that sort of thing, which I thought was absolutely awesome. Have I put too many of these bloody things on this side? No, I haven't. There's 2 there. More stickers. Stickers for the sticker god. Like, yeah, it's cool. Like, they, you know, the lads will go down to the local and get them to crack out the scale model kits. So, like, travel kits like that would be super useful for them. I suppose it wouldn't be a miss either if you're doing if you're going to your mates or something like that. They do hobby evenings, or even just having a handy for like, if you're doing a big event, having a hobby kit like that wouldn't be a miss. Like, 'cause I always try and go out of my way to bring, like, if you're gonna organize a big apocalypse game with people, it's always a good idea. If you're going to do big apocalypse games, it's always a good idea to bring spare dice, spare tape, a bottle of super glue and a bottle of plastic glue. And then, because something, now, you know what I mean? There's that many people traveling with their miniatures. Something is bound to break in transport. It always happens. There's always something that breaks. So it's always a good idea, even if, like, you're not bringing many miniatures yourself, it's always a good idea to bring glue with you, because somebody will need it. I can guarantee you, somebody will need the glue over the weekend. Something will break. Either something will get knocked off a table, or more than likely, something will get knocked during transport. That's the right way around. Here it is. You go there. It's definitely a good idea. Boop, 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 boop. Whoop. Pieces go here, and then we're building this little side section, which is like this, that one, a bit of that, and a bit of that. Orc stuff is saying solenoid operated hydraulic valves, electrical solenoids, welded steel support rail for the deaf arsenal. Thought you were going to say for the differential there for a second. Wouldn't be surprised if it had a diff in it as well. Boop, boop, boop. Great primer saying, oi, oi, you'll forget how to use glue at this rate. I know, mate. But, you know, this. Hey, you've nobody to blame but yourself, Nick. You've nobody to blame but yourself. You were like, why don't you do it made a fourth stream? You know what I mean? It's like, here we go. I'm blaming you, Nick. I'm blaming you. I was like, Jesus, that's a great idea. But don't worry, I only glued together the bolt action Tiger tank. I did a few finishing touches on it, construction wise. I only finished up gluing it. This back armor section was giving me hassle, so I put it in me voice grips, me hobby voice grips, and glued up this rear panel here. I had to feed some glue into it, but there was a bit of a gap. I don't know if you guys can see it. There's a bit of a gap on the front, and I used some of the Vallejo plastic putty and fill in the gap with it, and it's pretty straightforward. I just cleaned the nozzle in this, put it in, got me brush that I normally use for like PVA glue for basing, and just wiped away the excess. You know what I mean? And that's it. I've not sanded that down or prepared it. It's like I literally put it in, wet the brush down, and brushed away the excess. Just take your time with it, and it's perfect. Like, so I've no idea what color to paint this. Like, I really don't. But like I haven't even played bolt action. I was given an introductory game once. I just liked the idea of owning a Tiger tank, and I wanted to paint one. So who knows? Does anybody play bolt action? You know what I mean? Any hints as to what colours I should paint it? It's a, what is it, Oust E? I think it's a late war one, isn't it? It's a late war one. I don't know. I don't know if it's a late war one. Whatever the E-type Tiger one is. Maybe it's a... I don't know enough about my Tiger tanks. I'm not enough of an anorak when it comes to them. We're nearly there, lads. We're nearly there. Tom was asking for a picture in the Discord if you have it. Yeah, definitely, man. Orc Stuff has a little video. I lost the footage, sadly, of the last WA meet I was at, but Orc Stuff does in fact have a video of one of the WA meets. There is a... This one goes that way, and then up there. Oop. There's a couple of videos of the Orc WA meets on one of the DJ's channel. He has a YouTube channel. He actually has a few videos from over the years for us that he did. Really well edited, really well done from a few of the meets. Oh, look at the bleeding. Shabby workmanship going on here. Look at this. I can see gaps in bricks. Standards are slipping, I'm telling you. Standards are slipping. Same on that side. Try and tighten things up a little bit here, lads. Come on now. We're getting there. Right, now for the gob. Da gob. We're nearly done. We're on like step 211 of 230, I think, wasn't it? 230 steps. Just the little eeny weeny gumsy bits. This must be for the display plate. No, the display plate just goes on the front. I don't know why they didn't tell me to put it on already, but whatever. Boop. Where's that piece? Great primer saying, I have a wee travel hobby kit. Try and imagine wee in like wee, like Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland. I have a wee travel hobby kit. I made it a double layered bento lunchbox. It's silken sealed, so I don't have to worry about spills, but it was very handy for taking the cons. I'd say so, man. I'd say so. Yeah, having kits like that for cons is, even if you're just like, cause Nick does like hobby and sessions at the conventions, painting sessions and stuff. But even if you were going to like tournaments, that type of thing, like it's not a bad idea setting something like that up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Oh, we travel hobby kit. Great Primer saying, oh no, Tiger, thanks for that awesome sequence in Kelly's Heroes. Oh, Kelly's Heroes. I'm trying to remember. There's that many like terrible war films that don't actually have Tiger tanks in them, but just have chaffies. I'm trying to remember. It's like, oh look, at the Germans and their M60 Pattons, or the Hollywood Tigers. Oh, there's so many, man. It's hilarious. I've tagged you in a pic of my old Gargant on Discord, says Tom. Fair play, Tom. Fair play. But yeah, there's definitely footage knocking around a schmoggy somewhere. Oh, we travel, Hoviker. It's like, is he taking a piss? He is taking a piss. I think he is taking the piss. Right, let's go on that way. What bit is that? I have no idea. Is this like the chin or something? Or I don't bleed. No. Yeah, this will go like that. Right. So, we're on the last stretch. So if I saying the Tuggers and Kelly's Heroes are fake, good fakes, but you can tell by the wheels. Yeah. Usually they were made out. Quite a lot of them were made from T-34s, weren't they? Because you could just buy them by the bleeding truckload. I suppose that's the problem with a lot of the German stuff post-war, because they lost. There doesn't tend to be much of their stuff left. You know, a lot of it got scrapped. They got taken as war booty. I feel targeted. A wee bit targeted. Jesus. It's all love, Nick. You know it. You're loving the attention. I'll be pretending otherwise. Right. We're nearly there. I knew this was the rear section. Where in the Jesus does this go? Is that supposed to go on that way? That is supposed to go on that way. Yeah? No? Jesus. That way? No, it's not that way. That way. Here we go. Right, this is like his chin pretty much. It's the final countdown. Oh Jesus, where is it? There, right. That one, and that one. So, has anyone been doing any Star Wars related hobby for May the 4th? Or am I the only one putting the effort in, lads? You know what I mean? Come on. So letting the team down here. So if I'm saying, but we as orcs, so even if targeted will miss, this is true. Tom is saying I'm going to go to sleep. Good night. Good night, Tom. We're nearly at the end of this anyway, but good night. Great primer, just like Stormtroopers. I saw a great meme, and it's like, what would happen if a Stormtrooper tried to shoot at a red shirt, you know, from Star Trek? Would the world just sort of collapse in on impossibility? It would be hilarious. So there's his chin. It's getting there. And now for the final bits. Right, so you go on that way, okay, and then this holds that in. I have to build two of these, not that you have to build two of these. So I have to do two of them. That way, and on like that. And this piece has to go on here, and then this piece has to come on, on there, and the same for that one. Bop, and boop, and boop. I can go on there. I think there's a joint connecting them in. Is there like a ball and socket joint? I don't think so. I think it's just the end of the antennas or whatever they are. Whatever the mandible type appendages are on the helmet. Oh, they go that way. Oh, they do connect in. How did these connect in? Oh, there's our ball and socket joints. Fit your bastard. Boop. With added sound effects. Boop. Really? You want me to start putting bits under here? But why? Like, look at this. This will fall off. Somebody looks at this piece sideways, it'll fall off. Oh, I bet you there's pieces that come around here. Watch. I bet you. So, is he giving out? He is. He is indeed giving out. Right. We have that bit and that bit, and that goes on there, and that bit goes on there, and then do 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 do. Boom. Thus concludes the build for Stormtrooper helmet for May the 4th. No, it should be like it's not Vader. I know it's not Vader. But there we go. It's all done and dusted, and he can join his fellow buddy over here, the TIE Fighter pilot, up on the window still. So thus concludes our May the 4th build. So that's the Stormtrooper helmet finished this time around. Happy days. It looks pretty cool. It's not too massive, like it's compared to a boy maybe. So that's a 32mm base. That'll give you an idea of, be helpful if I put it in shot. You know what I mean? That'll give you an idea of how big he is. You stand the boy on top. That's a knob actually, but whatever. Whoa. It's about that big. There you go. Sweet. Well, I hope you enjoyed. We got our May the 4th build going on. You can thank Nick for inspiring me, because he reminded me it's May the 4th. And we had our little Star Wars build. And yeah, I've no more Star Wars Lego kits for the time being. So if you're used to orc content, you can breathe a sigh of relief. There won't be as much Lego, unless, you know, my birthday's next month and the missus has get me something, so you never know, lads. You never know. Squig Boss Mad Knobs, it looks like he's late. I'm afraid so, but I've literally just finished building it. We've got the Lego Stormtrooper done and dusted. You can always watch it back on the rewind. But we've got the Stormtrooper done now. It's a really nice kit. I actually quite like it. The TIE Fighter pilot was a bit more finicky with these pieces here. The sort of the connectors off of the mask. So there's more pieces in this one, and it's a bit more finicky. It's a bit more of a pain to put together. But yeah, no, the Stormtrooper helmet is grand. Only thing I didn't like about it was when you're building it, sometimes it'll tell you where to put, especially these guys, it'll tell you where to put one of these, but it might tell, you know, you'll have to put 2 or 3 of them down, and it'll give you an arrow for one, and then you have to sort of spot the difference between the last stage and this one. And because it's a lot of one square piece white, and it's mostly white, it's a bit of a pain. So I'm sure these probably go somewhere. You never know. Like, I've a couple of pieces left over from the build. They're all little bits and gubbages, so hopefully it doesn't fall apart. And yeah, we'll go from there. So yeah, there'll be another hobby hangout this Sunday. We'll be doing normal hobby. Maybe I'll get the finger out and decide what colour to do the Tiger tank, or maybe I'll do something different. I don't know. I've been eyeing up some of my Panzer Aces paints. Some of the track primer. I know I have red hull primer that the Germans were using in World War II. There's a lot of World War II colours. That's what this one's for. And I'm actually used some decals as well. There's a few decals I got with it, and I've got some like decal solvent and decal set for the Vallejo paint set that I have, the Panzer Aces one. So I'll give that a bash at some stage. Genie is saying you are a true Star Wars fan. True. Cheers. If you have seen Caravan of Courage, the story of the faithful Wookiee Ewoks Clone Wars 2D micro series and Ewoks the Battle of Endor. Oh my god, there's too much. I've seen the Christmas special. Does that count? It's great crack, folks. And like I said, next hobby hangout next Sunday, the usual time, 9 till 11. Hopefully I'll see you then. And yep. Hope you've enjoyed. May the force be with you. Or just die rebel scum. Take it easy. See you again.